and have now beaten Real Madrid, and it's been a long time since they last did that, but they are deserving winners on the day, and they have now probably cost Real Madrid top spot as well, because Barcelona have the chance to go back on top if they can win their game against Levante tomorrow. Real Madrid leaving the door open as it stands right now. Who's the biggest culprit in the Real Madrid squad today for you, Ale?
Well, there's plenty to pick from. Let me start with Arbeloa, because I mentioned him a few minutes ago. You have Fede Valverde, who wins possession of the ball back, runs by 3 or 4 players, puts the ball across to Vini Jr. to tie the game 1-1. The next minute, he's being taken off the field. Now, look, I don't care. And let me just say that right away. I don't care if there is some sort of number in somebody's computer that is saying he's in the red zone, he needs to be taken off the field. I trust my eyes. And my eyes just saw a guy that won a ball back and ran by 4 people and crossed the ball. And now we have energy. Now we have life. We're back into the match. It's 1-1. And Fede Valverde, who just did what he did, I saw him with my own eyes, and so did everybody else. He needs to be on the field for a little while longer. I need 10 more minutes from him. And let's see what we can get out of this 10 minutes. Because Osasuna, the reaction was to drop off, to drop back, to protect the 1-1 result. And if that's going to be the case, then you need the energy. You need the intensity of a guy like Fede Valverde out on the field. You decide to take him off, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't care what the numbers say. See, nowadays, we seem to hide behind numbers and say, well, look, maybe he was tired. Unless he had an injury, Fede Valverde should not have come off the field so soon after he did what he did for their goal. He had a really important part in that goal. You allow him to stay on the field 5-10 minutes and see if you can establish superiority, which Real Madrid never did in this game. That's why Osasuna are able to win it. Because Real Madrid, while they may have had the ball, when you see the expected goals, when you see the shots on goal, you notice that Osasuna was very much in this game, even without the ball. Real Madrid were second best to challenges, were second best to duels. You need a guy like Fede Valverde on the field instead of sitting on the bench.
Yeah, Real Madrid had been given the big warning in that first half. Luis Garcia, who's been watching this alongside with us, they'd been given the warning. They'd gone a goal down, and you'd seen that Osasuna were the more dominant side. And then still, this is what we get in the second half from the Madridistas.
Yes, because I think Ale is spot on. Real Madrid sometimes just think that because they are Real Madrid, they are going to arrive into the pitch, and at some point there will be a challenge, there will be a moment, maybe a penaltito as well for us, that they will manage to get a result. And we've seen it many times that it's like that complacency, that rhythm of moving the ball so slow, of not going with energy. The movements up front are quite plain and predictable. So in the end, it's about Vinicius Junior 1v1 situation, and Kylian Mbappe, if he's near the box, that we've seen, he can put it in the back of the net. That we didn't see the energy that we saw in the midweek when in the challenges they were there, when they were dominated by Benfica. You could see that at some point they would make a quick transition and they will score a goal. So today it was about, okay, the time will arrive, and of course Osasuna, they was not gonna give you anything. They were ready to keep on and don't give spaces, and in the end they managed to get a fantastic goal. That's why I don't want to take any credit from Osasuna. They were waiting for that opportunity in the second half.
Let's focus on Kylian Mbappe, because we usually will talk about Kylian Mbappe and how important his goals have been for Real Madrid, and rightfully so. Well, today, he was nowhere to be found. Too quiet, extremely quiet. And I don't think Real Madrid can afford to have a quiet game from Kylian Mbappe. I just mentioned about 30 seconds ago that Real Madrid have been dependent upon his goals. So you cannot have a quiet game from him. He has to be active. He has to give you little moves behind the line, a little diagonal run here, diagonal run over here, sometimes appear inside the 18-yard box, sometimes appear in wide areas. He was all too comfortable staying very sort of kind of central, but not really moving all that much, sometimes getting the balls from midfielders about 40, 50 yards away from goal. If I'm Alejandro Catena, I'm Jorge Rando, the center backs from Osasuna, and I see Kylian Mbappe over there in my midfield, I'm like, hey, we've done our job. He's not going to hurt us from over there. So he was too comfortable in being quiet today. And I know the game didn't lend itself for a lot for Kylian Mbappe, but then you have to make it happen. There are times in which you need to be the guy. You saw sometimes Vini Jr. taking that approach today. You didn't see enough of that from Kylian Mbappe. Today was one of those matches in which you go, where were you? Where are you? Where have you gone? We depend on you. Where are you?
What a way to do it as well, at the death, at home, in front of the fans, against Real Madrid.
And just a detail that people may not have noticed. In the goal by Real Madrid, when the ball pops up initially to the two Osasuna players, the one player that is unable to bring that ball down in that particular sequence was indeed Raúl Garcia. And he had just come on the field. So the reaction would have been for the rest of the players of Osasuna, you've just come on, turned the ball over, they've gone and scored. As a player, you carry these things with you. So the fact that he's able to score the game winner, now you forget about this turnover and you go and celebrate. But the calmness and the composure is what made the difference. And another detail, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We forget about how much of a liability he can be defensively. Today was a reminder how much of a liability he can be defensively, as well as Dani Carvajal. But in that sequence of the goal, if he just continues to run with Raúl Garcia, when he cuts back, if Trent Alexander-Arnold is doing his job, he would have ran right into, or when Raúl Garcia cuts back, he would have ran right into Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Trent Alexander-Arnold has stopped. And that allowed the space for then Raúl Garcia to go and finish in the manner in which he did. Great goal. Again, I'll repeat this. Osasuna, well-deserved 3 points.
Yes, hungrier than Real Madrid today. And we've got lots of La Liga action coming up for you this weekend, including more today as well. Barcelona against Levante is coming up tomorrow. Can Barcelona go back on top of the table? Our coverage will begin at 9:45 a.m. Eastern, kickoff at 10:15 Eastern.